Two, the SEC, Kendall did break the news, but the SEC formally released this. And I'm going to read it a little bit. Forgive me, it's wordy, it's a press release, but, this is what they said. The presidents and chancellors of the SEC approved future regular season schedule and postseason championship formats for 7 SEC sports during a meeting at the basketball tournament in Nashville last week. The future formats were approved in preparation for the addition of Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC beginning with the 2024-2025 athletic year. So, next down the road. Next year. But is next baseball season impacted by this?
No.
So this is 2 years for baseball, 1 year for football.
Right, because, it's the start of the athletic year. So the athletic year for 2024 starts in August, and the 2025 baseball season will be part of that.
Okay.
Next year is still 2023 for the athletic year, 23-24. So
2 years for baseball,
we have 2
1 year
years
for
to worry about this. Correct.
So here's what they're doing for baseball. The other sports that they announced, by the way, gymnastics, which we don't have here, swimming and diving, which we don't have here, track and field and volleyball also. But here's baseball. Here's what you guys are here for. Regular season. Each season, a team will play a 3-game series against 2 permanent opponents and 8 rotating opponents for a total of 30 conference games. Standings will be kept in a single division format. So no more East, no more West in baseball. Each team will have 2 permanent opponents and 8 rotating opponents. So that means the schedule will be imbalanced. It's not going to be like football where you play everybody twice in a 4-year period. It's not going to work that way in baseball. It's imbalanced. That's just kind of how it's going to have to be, considering the nature of the sport and how many conference series you have and stuff like that. So 2 permanent opponents, still 30 conference games, no more divisions, and the format will be determined with the SEC baseball tournament. I agree with you. I think this, unless any of you out there listening have a better idea, I think you don't change the format at all. Just 2 more teams don't make it. That's it.
Yeah. It just makes sense. Just makes sense to me. Bottom 4 are probably not scrounging for postseason play anyway when we go to 16 teams. So no, I think just keep it at 12. And that's just the way it'll be. I don't particularly care for this setup either.
Explain why.
Just 2 permanents. It just feels like I knew they weren't going to keep divisions, but I thought they would do 5 and 5. I thought they would keep 5 permanents and rotate 5. You still get the same number of people. You get everybody coming to your stadium in the same timely fashion. Yeah. So I don't know quite what's going on because, you're going to break up some good stuff here.
Yeah, Mike agrees. He said the baseball scheduling is stupid. Baseball should have 5 permanents and rotate the other 10 in 2 groups of 5. They would play every team in the SEC in 2 years and play at every stadium in 4 years, just like football. And they went with this instead.
It's a bad idea when both Mike and I are against it. The 2 most opposite guys you'll ever meet.
Because here's what you're going to lose. Let's start with this, though. Ole Miss and State are going to get each other. So knock that out. They're going to get each other. That's one. Who should the other one be for State and for Ole Miss?
For State, I think it should be LSU.
I agree.
I think that is historically State's most significant rival other than Ole Miss. I think in the SEC baseball, that is the most significant historical rivalry currently, and it just makes sense. So I would give that, but at the same time, I don't know that I would give Ole Miss LSU.
No, I would give Ole Miss Arkansas. I think that has become a spicy little rivalry that I don't want to see go away.
Arkansas is going to get either Texas or Oklahoma. They're probably going to get Texas. Yeah. But Texas, no, I guess Texas is going to get Oklahoma and Texas A&M. So Arkansas's got to get Tennessee. They have to give them Tennessee. It has to be that way.
Until Tony Vitello gets
maybe
fired
Arkansas,
for,
LSU, or Arkansas.
Slugging
and
an
then
umpire.
Arkansas, Ole Miss. So, I just don't know. I'm just not a fan. State hasn't had any success against Arkansas in the past 5 years, but I hate to see that series go away.
And that I said earlier that this is what they're doing because of scheduling, but as you guys pointed out, not true. They could do it differently. So, again, I would like to see Ole Miss keep Arkansas because I think there's a lot of juice in there, a lot of spice to that now budding rivalry that I don't want to see go away. But that means State won't play Arkansas every year. That means Mississippi State will not play Arkansas in baseball every year, and that sucks. That means Ole Miss will not play LSU in baseball every year, and that sucks. That really does.
I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, I mean, those are good rivalries and great series. You know, I mean, I don't like trading Ole Miss LSU for Ole Miss,
Missouri,
Oklahoma, Missouri. I don't care about that. I care about Ole Miss LSU has my attention. Ole Miss Missouri does not. Mississippi State LSU has my attention. Mississippi State, Texas A&M doesn't as much. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, really, couldn't you do it where whoever you give in football, you couldn't also do the same in baseball? Is there not a way to work that out? If you're going to give them 3 permanents?
And then you would have to add 2 more to make it work out the same way in terms of,
I guess so, yeah,
being in every stadium once every 4 years. And that's another thing. Yeah. And I mean, this is better than the football model, but you do have some pretty incredible venues in baseball. And I get it. Like, baseball's not football. It's not the same. For 99.9% of college baseball programs, they don't generate revenue. But the SEC is unique in that people do care. Like, it's not just Ole Miss State, Arkansas, and LSU that care. A&M cares. Tennessee's starting to care. South Carolina cares. Florida cares. I mean, you've got good venues and fan bases, and it's kind of a disservice to them to not let the players experience it all and let the fans experience it all in a shorter window.
No, I like that. I want that to happen, but at the same time, I want to keep some of this historic. I mean, it just makes more sense
but it
to
would
me.
Work that
I'm just
way.
glad they're getting away from the divisions, because if they had put Texas or Oklahoma in the East, I would have lost my mind. The only way to make that work at that point was to move Alabama and Auburn, and nobody wanted to put Alabama and Georgia in the same division for football, so makes sense.
I mean, there's going to be a player maybe they just don't care about this. I think in college sports you should. There's going to be a guy that plays at South Carolina who will never get to see Duty Noble. He won't get to play there. Won't get to play at Swayze. The right fielder is not going to get told all kinds of things about his girlfriend. And, that's a cool experience. I can't forget Mason Katz. Like, some of those guys can't stand it and handle it terribly. But then there's Mason Katz at LSU, who just relished in that stuff on the road in his career and just embraced it. And you're not going to give the opportunity for everybody to experience a similar thing. It kind of stinks, but it's what they decided. I would love to hear the rationale for why they decided on this. Love to know why.
I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm sure they'll Sankey will be asked about it at some point, but it's just odd. It's just odd. I'm very interested to see, when they announce the permanents. And of course, they announced all this today, and this doesn't happen until 2025. Still haven't announced what they're going to do with football, which is going to happen first. We're still waiting to find out what's going to go on there. I don't understand what the holdup is on that at this point.
Isn't
at this
point, finalizing at Destin this summer when they do the...
I guess so, yeah, which should be coming up. And those spring meetings are soon. They're soon.
I've seen friend of the show, Ross Dellinger, say this before. That should be where all the media hoopla is at the spring meetings, not at media days.
Yeah.
That's where everybody should go, because that's where stuff actually happens. At media days, it's just a coach reading a press release and players. It's a great event, don't get me wrong. Love being there, and it's great for producing content in the middle of July, but stuff actually truly goes down in Destin. Decisions are made there. Things happen. There's animosity. Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher have to have Sankey sit between them, or else those two old men were going to trade some very lightly landed punches. Although I feel like Saban probably has some juice still behind a right hook, if he were to give one.
I feel like if Saban is like the ultimate mess around and find out kind of guy.
Yeah.
I feel like you take him lightly, and he would just absolutely waylay you.
Like, you ever seen those... like a picture of a guy that tried to rob like a retired UCF fighter Like an elderly man who's like a professional or was a professional boxer, and this young guy that tried to mug him is just like his face. Is
exactly.
that would be Nick Saban.
Bad idea. Yeah, exactly.